Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, the 23rd of September, 6:48 in the morning, and the speed run has gone off the rails. Now, NLK J Keller is playing the English on me, so honestly, really don't know what to do against the English. You could go kind of Dutch style. Let's go Dutch style, like a Leningrad. Something like that. This is the Anglo-Dutch variation. Right, so what do we need to do? I'm 1302 now. My rating's actually slipped. I'm coming off the back of 2 losses. This is fine. This bishop's going nowhere. Yeah, some discussion in the comments about my comments about my last opponent. I went and checked out his rapid rating, his history on chess.com, and saw that he'd had like literally days where he's jumped 200 points in a day. You don't do that, and then like declines, and then sometimes he just jumps up. I don't know. I'm suspicious. You can have your own opinion. You know, we know that cheating is rampant, particularly at lower levels, I think. But look, grandmasters have admitted cheating, for goodness sake. Well, a grandmaster. Anyway, back to the action. So, present issue is he's got 2 knights out. It's targeting the e5 pawn. I think I shall defend with a knight. I need to be thinking already, this is only move 4, but I need to be thinking about what is the future of this bishop, where's it going to go? It could just come to e7, nothing wrong with that. In a lot of like c4 or c4 d4 games, you can bring your bishop out to here to target this knight. This knight's got good control over the centre right now. I'm imagining this pawn is going to end up here, so I'm going to bring my bishop out first, I think. No, I'm not. I'm going to protect my pawn. What am I talking about? Then I think the bishop might come out. See if we can prompt this. Doubles. d6. This bishop's alright. Might target this pawn. You could also fianchetto this bishop in some lines. Like I know what I'm talking about. I'm completely freestyling from move 1 against English. But at the same time, I don't think I find it all that challenging. I know I was looking into it myself for a month or so recently. And I think I just concluded it was a bit dull. For my tastes. I was trying to become a better positional player. So maybe it's helpful, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to drink as much tea as I can and try and perk up. And someone said, get your ass back on the coffee. Well, maybe it's more fun, being on the coffee, but... You see, what I don't like about the coffee is... It gives you... It's like... What you're doing is you're borrowing energy or enthusiasm and positivity from later on in the day. So you borrow the early afternoon's energy and you spend it in the morning, right? So you like get all perky and alert and whatever. And there's no question this kind of stress hormone, caffeine, cortisol combo seems to be good for chess. It makes you alert. It makes you a little bit more edgy. And certainly, yeah, just more alert to what's going on, what's available on the board, what threats there might be. Okay, horsey he sniff my horse. Well, if you want to take that, you're absolutely welcome. What he's done is he's committed the sin of moving a developed piece a second time. So there's part of me that's thinking just even like bishop e7. If he takes, I develop my bishop, maybe my bishop's got more scope there. It's actually on the long diag, right? Or he may choose to take the bishop with knight move number 3. Yeah. Cash in number 3, please. And if he does that, I take back the queen. You know, I'm going to have my pawns on these dark squares. I'm not worried about him taking here. If he takes the knight here, like we say, bishop, and then that could be a threat. You know, if he moves the b pawn to build a chain here, that's a double threat, isn't it? You know, bishop there, winning material. Or is that Nick J. Keller? And my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, man. Old age, Anno Domini, comes to us all. Odd move, this move 5. Now, there's nothing wrong with moving a piece a second time. This is a whole thing about these chess principles. There's a shitload of chess principles, and none of them are rules. They're all guidance, right? And all of them are valid and make perfect sense, unless it's not the right move. That's the thing. Like Naroditsky says, the concrete considerations trump principles all the time. So, if you have the opportunity to move a developed piece a second time in the opening, right, it's generally inadvisable, but if it's concretely good, do it. You know, if you have to undevelop a piece, although it may sting, although it may look ugly, do it if it's the right thing to do. This is one of the biggies. A lot of us get really hung up with oh, we can't play an unprincipled move. Well, you can. It's your game, you know? So, interestingly, here we have this already. Okay? We just mentioned that move, b3. So, if this, and then I might have this, attacking the knight and the rook at the same time. So, what I want to do now is I want to encourage this knight to capture my knight. So, I have castles now. d6, bishop e6. Puts pressure on the knight because I've got 2 attackers. I think both of those are fine. Let's castle first, because it seems good. See, what he's done really is he's kind of stuck his knight on an outpost, but it ain't a real outpost. Okay. Well, that's targeting this. It's defended once, attacked now twice. So I think d6 is very natural now. Yeah, I mean, it also adds a defender to this pawn. It's second defender on there. If I was to take his knight and c takes, then my knight's under attack. But this is okay because the first defender of this pawn, I saw a bit of a video by Andreas Toth, really good teacher. Where he said one of the things to forget about is just this raw counting attackers and defenders. Counting attackers and defenders, he said, it's exactly one of those positions. He said, forget about it, because what really matters is the hard calculation, right? Now, I'm thinking of this. Okay, so, you know, how many attackers on this pawn? 1, 2. How many defenders? 2. Right? But he can't take. I mean, he can't take anyway if it's the same number. You have to have more, right? Because and he's lost a whole piece, right? But this is the point. Even on move 1, he loses a piece because my first recapturer is a pawn. Oh, I like to see that. He's now moved his knight back and blocked his fianchetto bishop. So what did he figure out there? I don't know. But suddenly I'm very happy about my position. And in fact, I'm very optimistic about my light squared bishop. What I don't know is which diagonal it belongs on yet. Look, I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces developed and I'm castled. That's like, if you count it as castling's worth 2, that's a raw development score of 5. Opponent is on 3. And that bishop ain't the prettiest, to be fair. Now, Mr. LSB. No, it's LSI, Love, Sex, Intelligence. Remember that song? Anyone here from the 90s? Big up the 90s. I think he might have died, hasn't he now, Mr. C from The Shaman? Not sure. When you get to my age, there's a lot of people that have died. A bit Alan Bennett there, wasn't it? Right then. I'm kind of fancying this fianchetto line. Right, because I don't think my opponent's king's going that way. I think he's going that way, right? So I'm liking this with the idea that at some point this knight is going to move around. You never know. Might have fun up the queen's side. I mean, this bishop's completely bam right now. Okay, that's okay. It's okay for now. I can live with that for now. I'm thinking about this. Is this pawn move undevelops the knight? I think this knight's got ideas of moving forwards. Now let's consider this. That's no place for a bishop. That is no place for a bishop. Right? This maybe at some point, you know. I mean, here's another idea. Pushing up in the centre. But if I push f4, he's got e4, locking the centre. We don't want this, right? Now what you're looking for is you're looking for forks. So you're looking for squares, 2 squares apart, where you can shove a pawn and force something to happen. We haven't really got one of those. I do have d5. Knight takes doesn't work, right? d5, pawn takes, maybe even knight takes, queen takes. That's a possibility. But first I think I'm going to get my light squared bishop locked and loaded. Right, that was 2 minutes 49 seconds of complete waffle. This we cannot do. I'm determined to beat Nick J. Keller today. And we are assuming that Nick is a fair player who enjoys the sportsmanship of chess. And I'm really just not going to engage in these discussions in the chat about, you shouldn't ever accuse anyone of cheating. Bollocks. People are cheating all the time, And if you want to say, look, you should never cast aspersions on somebody's cheating, no. There are some games that just feel wrong. When your opponent plays some really, really clumsy moves, and I'll play some clumsy moves as well. But when you get a feel for the level of alertness and kind of vision and whatever that your opponent has, and sometimes you get this well, where the hell did that come from? Or there's a series of 4 or 5 moves that are made in 5 seconds each, where you go, well, that's just completely unstitched my ideas and whatever. You do get an aesthetic feel sometimes in games. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm sharing mine. I'm not going to be shy. Just share my honest views. Okay, queen's targeting, that's defended by my bishop. It does kind of prevent my bishop from fianchetting right now. What I'm wondering is if he's now planning to long castle. Well, I can actually now develop my knight with tempo. And if the queen doesn't go there, no, I don't have this square because of his bishop. Now, big question, is this a one-move threat? If I stick my knight here, the queen can't go there because of my pawn, and can't stay there because of my knight, she's going back on the back rank. I'm going to play this move for that reason. The reason is that I want to prevent white from castling, and this move prevents white from castling on the next turn. Now, it's more than probable, it's perfectly likely that my opponent may choose to kick the knight back. Big deal, I don't care. Quite happy about my position right now. Notice I've got 6 pawns on dark squares, which favours my light square bishop, obvs. But my light square bishop, you know, any moment, it could suddenly burst into life, you know, could give up its life for a nice attack on here. You never know. He spent 2 minutes over that move. And back she goes. I think it's time to fianchetto the bishop. If I can bust his pawns here, I'm happy. No, my knight is now lurking with intent here. But, you know, the queen's got, wherever she goes, she's going to have, like, pretty good control over c2. I wouldn't be surprised to see a3 here. I don't think it really helps black's cause. Sorry, white's cause. I mean, for one thing, it means he can't put his bishop there. There, I just come back here. And I am a little bit falling over myself, you know. It's like this bishop in particular. There we go. See, my knight would kind of like to come back here. Or I could play like queen d7, knight back to d8, and then he's got options, right, for coming round towards the king side. I kind of like that. 1, 2, 3, 4 pawn moves. I've also made 4 pawn moves. So he's definitely now pressing up on here. Now, the other thing that the move a3 does is it slightly de-encourages ideas of long castles. Very well protected pawn. This one, however, bam, 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 could be a warning sign. So, for example, if like I might have ideas of that. You never know. So another big thing I've found of the moving from like the breakthrough levels, like 1,000, 1,200 level, up to the intermediate level, you know, well, let's say breakthroughs like up to 1,300. Yeah, well, as you get stronger, one of the things is a greater appreciation for the subtlety of the build-up in the game as well. You need to start to enjoy and relish more the small positional, you know, shifts. It's very much like in, you know, boxing or martial arts. You know, you're shifting your weight. How far are you from your opponent? You know, are you just testing him with some jabs and stuff like that? Not that I'm a fighter. Oh look, he's put his queen back there now. Wow, why? Excuse me. So I've really now. He's moved this knight 3 times, and he's moved the queen 3 times as well. He's gone queen c2 and then back there and then back there. So now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces out. I have 4 pieces out and I'm castled, and it's me to move. Now, so I'm starting to look at candidate moves already. Maybe not the right thing. So my hunch is that he really wants the long castle. Maybe he's scared of this fianchetto bishop. So, principles at this point say play in the centre when your opponent's king still isn't castled and wants to. So that's principles. I've got a couple of pawn pushes on D&E. Another idea sometimes in these kind of cases is to start to push your pawns up to make your opponent think twice about playing on that side of the board or castling on that side of the board. I would really like to open up this bishop now. And should white castle, the rook's going to end up on D1, right? This pawn here will only be defended the once. So let's look at the moves D5 and E4 to start with. D5, he can take. This pawn's actually undefended, slightly weak. Okay, here takes. I can take back. We might end up with a big old trade. And then this, I mean, that doesn't look good. It's like this pawn's quite important. Right, so I think that's okay. And if he doesn't take, let's say he takes once and I take, we are potentially opening up this bishop. Do I want to keep my pawns on the dark squares and leave this bishop bad? I'm not sure. Let's have a look at this. He goes here. He can't take with the C3 knight. I think I prefer that move. Just, yeah. Again, though, it maybe opens up this prospects for this bishop on b2. But where's he going to go? If he goes here, I take, pawn takes. King is now looking, I don't know. I have g6 as well, and maybe just build a light square pawn chain here. If he comes in here, I think that's probably what he's going to do, actually, because he's got ideas of a fork. This is quite common in many Dutch kind of setups. But I think Queen d7, and then maybe even a kick. That will send him back here. And that is not a happy place for a horse. Okay, Queen d7. And if I kick him, he's got nowhere to go. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. A nice little square for my horsey there. Bishop takes the queen takes the pawn now. That's not bad square. Again, it's kind of blocking ideas for his bishop. And he can't go back there now. That's the problem. One of my rooks may find its way to the d file as well. I mean, my opponent's only 13 points lower rated than Chessbook Cam right now. I mean, he's down to 4 minutes as well, this character. Come on, Nick. Rise and shine, brother. Rise and shine. This is just great. I mean, putting the knight back there, we can't go to the square because of this pawn. I mean, he can come back here. Probably will come back there. But even G5 might even be a thought. Could be a thought, mate. Could be a thought. Anyway. Dude's running out of time. I like that he's thinking. That's good. But you need to think a little bit quicker. Either that or he's multitasking. He might be at work, for all we know. So it doesn't feel like this game's going to go all the way. Okay. Is this announcing some kind of intent to short castle? I've actually made my bishop worse as well with this. So I think it could be argued that these pawn pushes, although there was a kind of logic to them, has devalued my own light squared bishop. I'm inclined to push up. I want to see what he does here, though. If he short castles, then there's a part of me that rather fancies the idea of a kingside pawn storm. My other major issue is still this dark squared fellow. Another idea is to break in the centre. Now let's have a look. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to play this. This is like a waiting move. I want to see what he does. If he castles, then I think h6, kicking the knight back to here, right? And maybe followed by g5. So h6 knight here. We've already seen this. Still liking that. Obviously that could lose a pawn now. But this is a definite improvement for the old knight. And it slightly improves prospects for this bishop as well. You again. 4 moves from that knight. And I like this idea. Okay, it really opens up this bishop. But how about takes, knight e5. And what's more, this hangs. See, after pawn takes, got knight e5. We talked about this move already. This pawn is now hanging. This knight is now hanging. If bishop takes knight, I'm pleased. I've got a bunch of pawns in the centre. Oh! Oh! You did not just do that. There you go there. Another Hunty special. Okay, well, pawn hangs. You win an exchange. Pawn hangs, he has to take a rook. I don't think there's anything for it. He's going to take a rook. Yeah. Okay, so what didn't I see? I didn't see this. All I was focusing on was the fact that this knight was en prise, so I had to move it. I did not notice that that pawn improved this. So, yeah, I should have kicked the knight out first. I've allowed him to put a second piece into my camp, into my half of the board. Okay, rook. Rook takes all day long. Okay, so I have an extra pawn, he has an exchange. So he's basically got an extra rook where I've got an extra knight. But that knight ain't a bad piece. My bishops are now feeling sprightly and lively. Got ideas of that. But Nick's only got 1 minute 45 left. That's my concern for Nick. I might stick my bishop here with ideas of contesting White's dark squared bishop on the long diagonal. I don't mind that move. If we end up trading, I might improve my rook, maybe set up a rook lift, yeah? This is no threat. This is no threat. I mean, it's possible. And there we go. And there we have it. Okay, this is now my bad bishop. the artist formerly known as Good Bishop. And something is very much drawing me to this. You have to pay extra double care about the back rank, but look, my pawns are actually... I have every pawn on the board. White has lost the c-pawn. This is defended only once and attacked once, so I've got to be a bit careful about Queenie. Takes rook. There's rook f6, rook g6. And this bishop's still a bit blunted. I could push c5, but that gives me a backwards pawn on d6. Might be an issue. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Let's have a... I want to get rid of that pawn. My bishop is pointing at g2, but my own pawn is in the way. There and takes. I move my knight round. 2 attackers on the pawn. This bishop's undefended as well. c6 actually. c6 rather than c5. c6 defends the bishop. Bishop defends the pawn. Knight defends the pawn. That's what I'm playing. Need to put the pressure back on my opponent. He's down to 1 minute 25. Gives me a little bit of a platform, and once more, once my bishop moves, I might push up. You know, I could even push up, right? I just don't want to create a permanent weakness, okay? He's taken out the knight, and he's given up the bishop pair. I think I'm just going to stick my king in the corner. Now, we may say goodbye to the light squared bishops. But again, that's not too bad. Right? I'm now busily capturing towards the center, right? If he trades, that's 2 pawn moves in succession towards the center, giving me a bit of a lump of pawns here. Pawns this side are okay. I have the bishop pair right now. Okay. My first instinct here is to keep the bishop pair. But I can't guarantee that. So what's the point of this move? The point of this move has to have something to do with the d pawn. But if he pushes it 1 or 2 squares, I can just take. I should consider getting my queen off of that line. So let's say well, whatever happens, let's say he does either d3 or d4 and I take, whether en passant or not. Okay, he has rook takes. My bishop is suddenly under pressure, but can't be pressured further by a pawn. Bishop d6 is a thought. But again, I'm sticking it behind this pawn, right? Maybe what I need to do is just bust on through. Takey, 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 or take it. I don't know. Excuse me. I could tickle this bish and say, "Go on then, mate. What you going to do? Do your worst." Prompt him to take. I take there. This pawn is always going to be eliminated, leaving me 3 pawns here. Does weaken this, maybe. Let's go back to this. If he takes... this idea. Now, I don't like putting the bishop there. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do that. We're both down under 2 minutes. We're now in a blitz situation, but with a 10-second increment. Queen or pawn? Pawn. This bishop now has there, which is kickable. There we go. Now we have to consider, do we allow him to take? And the answer is no. Expecting queen takes. We did not get that. Now. This just improves life for my bishop because I've just moved that pawn off of a dark square. I could even do this. That might then prompt that, but oh no, then it's unstoppable mate. Okay, let's do this. Now he's not going to want to take. And he's down to 1 minute 18. Huh. Okay, so we're back to me being an exchange down. We have to tread carefully here. I take queen, you take queen. Nothing gained. I have to move my bishop. Okay, I take pawn here. I quite like that. But he's just threatening this outright, isn't he? Now. So do I have to do that first? Then he just takes this pawn. That. Here he takes. Okay, I'm going to eliminate that pawn first. I know that these pawns are going to die. But I've got ideas about this, maybe attacking the rook now. There, queen can take my bishop. So I have to defend the bishop. I'm going to stick him here. That just isn't playable because he loses the rook outright. This is an idea. Whew, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just much worse now. Queen's taken there. Okay. Let's throw this in, defends this pawn, attacks this rook. Puts pressure on the clock. Okay, well, we're not worried about the d8 square. That's fine. Now, how can I use my bishop in some kind of attack? 1 minute 26. I'm down. I'm worse on the clock. Cripes. Okay, we're not worried about here. My queen is actually, she can go and cause trouble elsewhere. I'm now pawn down and an exchange down. Okay, both of these pawns are undefended. So I've got like queen e7 attacks one of them. Okay, this is well defended by bishop and king, so let's go here. Attacking both of these pawns. He can't move one to defend both. There we go. Okay, let's go here and attack this one. And suddenly Nick has woken up and he's blitzing out his moves. There, takes, I win a pawn. That's not possible. Nick's clock has gone red, he's got less than a minute. Attack twice, defended twice, I'll have the pawn, thank you. I want to take this pawn, or at least put my queen there, attack this rook. Queen here is not bad. Mm, 35 seconds now for Nick. He'd love to come here, but he can't. He's up in material. He's down on the clock. That defends the pawn. He's got 3 attackers on there now. I have 3 defenders. This could force a trade of queens. But I need to employ my bishop. I'd like to put my bishop here to defend this pawn. And then these three are all I can forget about. Also blocks off one of the open files. And because my opponent's got two rooks, and he's got them both on 7th as well, to his credit. Well done for that. I mean, is there ideas of this? He's down to 2 seconds though. Well, well, well. White is +2-ish. Gosh. Right, let's have a look at that one, because I think that one was quite interesting. Okay, I'm going to flip the board, hit review. Place your bets. Accuracy 70s. Yep. And looks like a thunder blunder from me. He made a mistake and I blundered straight back and gave a huge advantage. Look at this, look how tight this was. That's what you get with the bloody English, isn't it? Okay, so I played slightly more accuracy with no blunders. How can that not be a blunder? Oh, it's counting it as one of my misses. Misses are as bad as blunders. My opponent made a mistake and I failed to capitalise. 1600 for me, 1550 for my opponent. So, a good fight, man. Good fight. So let's go through. That's good. Yeah. There you go. You know, principle, but. And we know this is tight as a gnat's. And you see, already, inaccuracy. Moving the developed piece a second time. Pushing with tempo. Huh. Giving me a slight edge, but I'm just building up. Still wants e4. Loves e4. Grabbing that space and really kind of constraining your opponent's central development early on. Okay, we have a slight edge now. That's not good. Okay, this is actually, again, quite a common Dutch move with the idea of swinging the queen over to the king side. And you see this, it's saying it's a good move, but not a great one. It's begging for e4. I must have considered e4. Definitely played it later. So it's saying this move is like alright, but the reason for that is I was worried about white casting and I just wanted to stop him. And I was expecting to be kicked back, but I want a tempo with that move. Okay, bishop e7 is good. Again, it's going to say, oh no, wow, c5 now. c5 with a backwards pawn here. But actually really starting to clamp down with my pawns. I mean, this is starting to look, yeah, you're right, fish. Also, but this is a backwards pawn itself. Then I can sacrifice the d pawn and leave myself a nice structure. Kicks me back. What do you mean excellent? What's the best move then? Oh. And now I play e4 and it congratulates me. Thank you very much. The one I hate is when it says you should play e4, like it's the best move for like 10 moves, and then you play it and it goes, that wasn't good. Okay, so now queen d7. Okay. Didn't like this. This was a bit of a, like I said, it was a waiting move. Centralising that knight onto a good square, yeah. Okay. Now his knight comes in and we trade off. But that was a mistake. Should have taken the other knight, allow him to take here, and then probably take back with the bishop, yeah. Oh, it says queen or bishop. Yeah, either way. And we are slightly better. But here, I saved my knight instead, and now white is a pawn better because, yeah, because of that move. Right. Yeah. All I thought was, do I save my knight or take this one? And I thought that this comes with another attack. But what I failed to spot was that move. Yeah, it's just oversight. And now he's a pawn better. I have to take there. He does, but saying bishop was slightly better. Castles is not great. C6 inaccurate. Should have got my king off there, right? Okay. And white is better. And this is exactly what I mean. Now I move my king to safety. Now that he's only got the one bishop as well. Okay. Queen e6, all right. f4 is a great move, and we're actually even here. We are even. So where are we on the old graph? Graph of doom. Okay, so this we're about to come up to the big mess. Okay, bang even now, and that was not good. But that was terrible. So the correct move was it this? Let's go retry. No, retry this. Okay. Is it that? Opening up the file. No, that's a blunder. Here. I don't use this retry thing enough. Queen g4 is a blunder. Go on then, show me. Just pushing on. And like we said later on, he can't just push there because it's an unstoppable mate, I think. And I think, did I play the move f3? I played the move f3 here and lost that point. So he spotted this pin here. This pawn's not defended, he can take. Good spot by white. And definitely just a mistake on my part. With that rook, okay. So the right idea, but it kind of put the clamp on that. Okay, so from here, this was critical. This is the critical point in the game. This is a blunder by my opponent. Right? Sorry. No. Okay, from here, it's a blunder because I could have done. Oh! Could have hit both. Oh my goodness me. Dopey bugger. Terrible. Look at that. He just puts both rooks on the long diagonal. I have a bishop. Job's done. Right? I win back the exchange. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, so there we go. And like, you know, at the end of the game, we're in a completely equal position. Would have been a fascinating end game. We both played decently throughout. So well done to my opponent. Reasonable game. As always, I'll take the win, however it comes. But yeah, still not firing on all cylinders over here. Come on, T. Do your magic. But we'll see. We'll see, you know, let's settle down to the caffeine-free life. We'll see how we get on. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.